I'm Dr. Gerry Fishkin, and welcome to my show. Today's show and topic is about cancer, mine. And the reason I want to talk about my cancer today is because when I was diagnosed a year ago, there was no handbook of cancer for dummies. And so everything that I talk about today are things that I experienced, felt, and I knew that when I came back, I was going to come back in a different way. And I mean, come back to my show, because it's been a year. And ironically, the last show I did with Mr. David Bance, my friend, who was a 30-year cancer survivor, a week after filming that show with Dave Bance, I was diagnosed with stage 2 bladder cancer. And I have to say, it was the most frightening experience of my entire life. When confronted with cancer, you are set into a world that you're not really prepared for at all. It's a world of mechanical things. It's a world of science. It's a world of technology. It's a world of fear. And at the end of it, it's a world of hope. How it looked to me was this. I had been having some symptoms for a while. My doctor thought it was a urinary tract infection, and he treated it as such twice with heavy-duty antibiotics. When I reached a point, that was that week after filming my last show, I was rushed to the hospital, middle of the night. 2 weeks later, after exploratory surgery, I was given the diagnosis. From there, things started to tumble very quickly. First, surgery to clean out the bladder and to provide function, but it was also to do biopsies and that. As I said, 2 weeks later, I get a call from my urologist. You have stage 2 bladder cancer. I'm going to introduce you to your next friend, my oncologist, who set out a course of chemotherapy, 36 hours, spread over 13 weeks. I was a good soldier, and as you will see in the video, it was an interesting and a difficult time at the same time, because I had never ever thought that I would be in that situation. So I have a video I'd like you to take a look at.
Well, this is a definitely new look for me. And by the way, what's the sense in hiding anything? So here I am. This is Friday. I'll be here for about 6.5 hours, being infused into what I call El Puerto de Libre, or the port of life, getting my chemo. This is my 3rd round. I have 1 more round to go, and I'll have that in 3 weeks. Then I'll be done with chemo. Got a report yesterday from my doctor saying that my blood work was perfect. So I'm really working hard at this. The long and short of all of this is I am now a patient. I have cancer of the bladder. I never thought this would happen to me. We're going to be doing a full show on this when I return. But I just wanted you to know that there is life after diagnosis. And I think that the whole point of all of this is what it's taught me. And I want to present those lessons with some help from some friends when I come back to the studio. I just want you to know that I'm alive, I'm well, and I'm in battle with something that I'm writing with. I miss all of you, and I especially miss my friends in the studio. So this is Gerry Fishkin signing off, letting you know I'll look forward to seeing you really soon to discuss this incredible experience I'm having with this thing called cancer. Take care and all my love. See you real soon.
Well, that's what it looked like during my chemo. Lost all my hair, lost 20 pounds of body weight, but I did it. And I have to say that during that entire period, I was a mess. There were no medications that would stave off the horrific nausea and pain, not only physiological, but psychological as well. My memory started to fade, and there was a pervasive and permeating sense of dread during that period. But as a good soldier, I knew that if I stayed the course, we would kill the monsters inside of me that I didn't invite in the first place. So my entire goal was to kill the cancer that had invaded my body. During that initial period, my wife bought me this. It says, "Believe in miracles." And every night I would rub this thing, almost rubbing the metal off, and praying to God and praying to everyone I knew that had passed to protect me. Whether it did anything or not, I don't know. But I do know one thing. It gave me a focus, and it gave me hope that maybe there would be a miracle. Following the chemo, I had a couple of months to let the chemo do its thing, and it did quite well. The cancer was killed. My oncologist was very, very pleased. And after the chemo and my visits with my oncologist, he said, "Well, Gerry, it's time to talk about having your bladder removed." And at that point, since I knew ultimately that was going to be the final event, I staved myself. But there was a miracle. My urologist went to school with Dr. Sia Danishmand, MD, who was chief of urological surgery at Keck Medical School at USC. And he set up an interview to meet with Dr. Danishmand at Keck Medical. And I did. Dr. Danishmand said that I was a good candidate for the surgery, but he couldn't guarantee. Oh, by the way, he also was a specialist in creating a neo-bladder. So the guarantee or hope was that I would not have a bag after my bladder was removed, but rather I would have a fully functioning bladder created out of my own intestine. But I wouldn't know if I was a candidate until he had me in surgery and could see that the cancer hadn't traveled down my urethra. If that had happened, I would have lost a lot more than just my bladder. And I wouldn't know if I was going to be successful with a neo-bladder until I had awakened from surgery and my wife and my best friend were at the foot of my bed giving me a thumbs up, at which point I knew I had accomplished that too. Now, what do I do with this? It's all new, it's all changing. And it would take about 4 months to adapt to that new bladder, but also to adapt to the changes that I had to face. They weren't great, but I had to learn new ways of living, if you will. And the surgery was highly successful. And it's now 6 months later, and I'm fully functioning. I've gained the 20 pounds back, which I'm now trying to lose some of. But there were some important things that happened to me during the entire year and the entire treatment. And I want to share those with you. And I knew I would be doing this with you today, and I wanted to be prepared. So during my treatment, I took some notes because I never wanted to forget certain things. And those certain things came out in 5 major points, and I'm going to share those with you. The first one was, I never want to forget the sense of gratitude and humility I've experienced through this process. This process has taken me so much closer to who I really am, to the core of what makes Gerry Fishkin me. Okay, the second major and overriding sense was hope. And hope is not an operational plan. Yet without the belief that I can and will get better, the process would have been much more difficult. So hope was critical. And you know, when you're stripped of your dignity and your vanity and you're laying in bed helpless, the only thing I could think about was hope. The belief that I would get better, that I would survive, that I would more than just recover, that I would change somehow in a very fundamental way. And most fundamental is my new understanding of how much doesn't matter in life. That was number 3. How much doesn't matter? And how much time do we spend, or have I spent, agonizing over things that were meaningless, but they occupied my time and my energy. And I don't do that anymore because I recognize the waste, the meaninglessness of it all. The most important thing is life and experience. And when I was laying in bed, the only thing I could think about was being in the moment and not feeling or thinking about the future. And that having cancer said to me, live your life. Live it. Don't just talk about it, but live it. Don't live with shoulds and buts and regrets, but live my life. Live it with a sense of courage. And, you know, the old definition of courage is not being anxious in the face of a threat, but taking action anyway. And to me, that represents my entire battle with cancer. Number 4, when confronted with cancer, you do what you have to do to survive. It's the only thing. What do I need? And in that, treatment is a collaborative approach, really. You deal with your doctors, you deal with everyone around you. And number 5, the most profound sense that I experienced was that there is no tomorrow, there is only now. Now, I realize there is a tomorrow, but when you're dealing with all of the treatments and everything else, there's only a now. And the most profound thought is, deal with now. If I need to cry, I cried. If I needed to scream, I screamed. But my most profound and my darkest moments happened during this treatment. And I'm not sure that without the loving support of my wife, who stayed with me the entire time at the hospital, through my surgery, she slept in a bed right next to me. My friends, my family, my community. I don't know where I would have been, but I thank God every minute of every day for the profound change, the profound healing that I've experienced. And I wasn't alone with that support, even though many times I felt alone. Who's going to help me? Who can hear me? Who can know my fears? What am I going to look like when this is all done? Well, I'm now 6 months out, fully recovered. Here I am, but not recovered, because now I have a different sense of life and a different sense of meaning and a different sense of purpose. I feel things deeper. I feel things more profound. And I have this sense about me that I can be totally open. I don't have to rely on knowledge, my science or my degrees or my history. I can be who I am right now and be there with you and let you know that if you're struggling as I have with this, whatever the outcome, you will be okay. Whatever you are struggling with, you'll find the meaning and the purpose within you. Don't look to the outside, look in, because that's where life and hope live. That's where we find our most profound healing, is within. And to maintain that sense of hope is critical to your recovery. It was critical to mine. I'm Dr. Gerry Fishkin, and I want to thank you for being here today, for listening. And I hope I've been able to provide some sense of hope for you and some sense of comfort. Look forward to seeing you on the next Dr. Gerry Fishkin show. Take care.